Hi, Dr. Scott Jensen here. I'm running to be your next governor of Minnesota. There's been a lot of conversation. President Biden has weighed in with some mandates. The executive powers have been used to basically tell private sector industries if you've got more than 100 employees, you've got to mandate vaccines. We've had a conversation over the last few days about civil disobedience, and I want to weigh in a little further. 5 years ago, I wrote a book, and there was a character in my book named Gertrude. And for a variety of reasons, she ended up, at the age of 83 or so, being placed on a statin drug to lower her cholesterol. Now, this was in the context of just having learned that her coronary artery vessels were pristine and clean, no blockages. So her first 85 years of life brought her no significant plaque or obstruction. It caused this patient tremendous grief for her to disobey the cardiologist. And she didn't get relief from that grief until she came to see me, and I told her that it was absolutely silly for her to go on a statin drug in her mid-80s when we just found out that her vessels were wide open and there was no issue. That's what happens with disobedience. Nobody likes the idea of being labeled, "You're disobedient." But sometimes you have to be. I saw a patient a couple of days ago in the office, and he said that he was thinking about having a cardiac procedure done because the surgeon had said that he thought that he'd probably be able to get off the table and it might extend his life by a year or two. I told that patient, I will not do your pre-op examination and approve you for that surgery. I haven't told the patient that for at least 5-10 years. And I would not do it because I thought the patient needed to be disobedient to the surgeon, because as far as I'm concerned, that patient has a very high likelihood of dying on the table, and if they do get up, the likelihood of that patient going on to have any kind of decent quality of life over the next 2 or 3 years is pretty damn small. Disobedience is a part of life, and I know it feels uncomfortable. I want to comment on what Martin Luther King was advised of doing. He said when he stood up in the 1950s and 1960s, this is what was said about Martin Luther King. Peter Myers wrote an article for Heritage Foundation called "The Limits and Dangers of Civil Disobedience." And Peter Myers said this about Martin Luther King, that Martin Luther King argued that civil disobedience is not lawlessness, but instead a higher form of lawfulness, designed to bring man-made laws into conformity with higher laws. Martin Luther King Jr. knew that it was justifiable in exceptional circumstances, but it is dangerous in that it poses a threat to the rule of law. And I get that. I am not asking people to willy-nilly go around disobeying the law. But honestly, when the Lutheran and the Catholic churches 15 months ago said, we're not going to comply with Governor Walz's mandate regarding continuing to hold down our audience or our congregation to less than 10, they said, no, we're going to have services a week from Sunday. We cannot comply with you, Governor Walz. And Governor Walz called them. They had a conversation, and Governor Walz knuckled. Bottom line, folks, is please don't think of civil disobedience as some dastardly thing that some wacko political candidate would think of. I've been thinking about this for months. I've watched an encroachment on our liberties like I've never seen before. I'm a law-abiding guy, and I know you are too. And I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm just asking you, would you please accept this as the beginning of a very important conversation? Thanks.